I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dr. Thompson, Superintendent Spotlight.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Trusker. Packed house, appreciate you guys calling up, and it's a true tribute to some of the outstanding achievements that our kids continue to make and in all the winter sports. And so I think we'll start with our winter sports All Ohio Recognition Awards tonight. Mr. Rockwell.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. We have lots of certificates up here to give out, and that's exciting news. I'm happy to report we had a fantastic winter sports season. We'll sort of start in order of where things happen. So we'll start with our swim program because they had their state championships first. So I'm happy to report that Brody Hicks finished 5th in the state in 2 events down at the Division II Ohio OHSAA meet. Down in Canton, 5th in the 50 and 5th in the 100 flags. He improved on his finish from his sophomore season, where he also finished in the top 8 in the state in 2 events. So congratulations to Brody. I'd also like to highlight that Coach Brian Scheider was the News Herald Area Coach of the Year. So we can give our swim program Brody Hicks. Scheider, congratulations.
All right, I'd just like to thank Mr. Rockwell and Brian here for helping me get to accomplish this, and I think it's really amazing the swim program we have at Perry, to be able to get kids to states and then also have brand new swimmers and be a successful team throughout. So thank you guys.
Thank you. And Coach Scheider and Brody will be back and better than ever for next year. He's a junior, so he's ready to go for his senior year, and we're excited what he can do in the pool. He works year-round, nonstop swim. Coach Scheider does a great job, not only with our Perry program, but if you read the article in the News Herald, he actually coaches multiple teams in Northeast Ohio and does a fantastic job with all of them. So we're happy to have him, lucky to have him. Thank you, gentlemen. Best of luck next year. Thank you. Our next honoree is our gymnastics program, and one of the first times in over 14 years that we're going to be able to honor somebody from gymnastics as an all-state finisher. Macy Freeman finished 4th place in the beam and 5th place in the all-around competition down in Columbus. She is a freshman, so she's got a bright future ahead of her. We're very proud of her accomplishments. I know Coach Arabs, Coach Arabs here. Let's see, Coach Jessica Arabs is our gymnastics coach, very similar to our swim, coaching multiple teams, multiple girls from schools all throughout Lake County. So thank you to Coach Arabs. But Macy Freeman, come on up, 4th place in the beam. 5th place all around. Congratulations, Macy. All right. All right, and moving on to wrestling. That was our next sport down at the state level. We have 3 all-state award winners that we'd like to recognize. We'll start with our girls program. Abby Cornwell finished 7th in the 110-pound weight class. Gigi Dominish finished 3rd overall in the 105-pound weight class. And on our boys' side, Chance Schlau, 5th place at the 150-pound weight class on the boys' side. So, again, the good news with all of these wrestlers, they're all underclassmen. Chance is a junior. Gigi is a freshman, and Abby is a sophomore. So they're going to all be back and ready to go, working already on some freestyle, off campus, doing some stuff already, getting ready for next year. So Chance, Gigi, and Abby, please come on up. Congratulations. Good job. Get a quick picture, then we'll get our coaches up here too. There we go. All right, well, you guys stay up here so we get a whole picture. I want to recognize our two coaches from our wrestling programs. Dan Trentinelli is our head wrestling coach here at Perry High School. He was named the 2025 Greater Cleveland Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association Coach of the Year for our district in Northeast Ohio. Division II Coach of the Year, Coach Trentinelli, please come on up. It was named the 2025 Girls Wrestling Coach of the Year for the News Herald area. Congratulations, Teresa. Coach Dominish, come on up. Very similar to Brody in swimming and Macy in gymnastics. Macy's working year-round, 4 or 5 days a week out at Legs and Menor. Our wrestling program is doing the same thing. Our coaches are starting our off-season program. Like I said, I mentioned with their going to Spire for freestyle and things like that. Really proud of what the time and effort that our coaches put in to help meet our kids' goals. So congratulations to all of our winter sport, and this is sort of a pseudo winter sport, and he can't be here tonight, but I did want to take the opportunity to recognize Armani Ciccone. He was our state champion in the indoor state meet, which is actually held. We're very lucky. We don't have to travel far. It's over at Spire. It was in late February, but Armani was our state champ in the high jump, 6'5". He's going after our school record of 6'7". He's right there. Again, he couldn't make it tonight, but congratulations to Armani and our track program.
Thank you, Mr. Rockwell, and thank you, congratulations to coaches, and again, thank you to all our student athletes for your hard work and dedication. You certainly continue to make us proud with your work, and you represent Perry well. So thank you again so much for coming out tonight and getting that well-deserved recognition.
You guys are welcome to stay.
Oh, we get some more.
Oh, we have more?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're not done. Yeah, we're going.
I was looking at it, I'm sorry.
It's the season. And so next on our Spotlight of Learning, I'm so excited and really near and dear to my heart. One of the goals we've always had in my time here was to work to create and maintain a positive, caring culture. And the process in that is to, pursue greatness, get better every day, power relationships, stronger together, and then that personal responsibility and try to be prepared for life. And our Perry Service Learning Program, who has, they have been established for a long, long time. I think Dr. Berkey is the credit you give to getting this thing started back in the day, Mr. Soder. They embody everything about that. And so it really is special to have them here tonight and provide accommodation for an award they received. And Mr. Priscilla, will you be coming up?
Sure. First off, congratulations to all of our student athletes and our coaches. Awesome. It's fun to watch your journey along the way. PSL, phenomenal program. As Dr. Thompson said, it started back in 2004. A group of staff, students, and administration got together, started a service learning program. And we can do the math on all the numbers. 10,000 hours per year is the estimate on the amount of hours that our students are giving back to the community, times 20 years. We're looking at over 200,000 hours of service. And so during that time, there's a lot of lives impacted, both on those on the receiving end of the service, and then for our students and the growth that they get to have from that experience. Ultimately, we could dive into all the numbers. PSL comes down to it's a life-changing experience, both for those on the receiving end and especially our students. When you look at a lot of our alumni that have gone out and done great things, and I'll put a little plug in, there's a donor appreciation night next Wednesday where our PSL teachers work to show appreciation and sort of do a year in review. There will be a 20-year highlight video with different interviews from alumni that have been impacted by the PSL program and the service and what they learned in that class. So special thanks to Mark and Allison for their work, for the vision that they've had. They've been the model of what we want in our school as far as like continuing to evolve the classroom. Every year they're looking to do something better. One of the things that I think really helped them take it to the next level is when they came with the idea of moving over here to Manchester West with the Center for Civic Engagement, where they were able to expand the food pantry and work with the clothing room there and really take it to another level. So special thanks to Mark and Allison for the vision that they had of excellence, always questioning how they can get better, and always questioning our students, what does your community need from you? And our students have responded, and what a wonderful program. I look forward to the next 20. So Mark and Allison, come on up here at this time.
Mrs. Cousins.
Yeah, I
am.
Beautiful.
I will just real quick say, it's obviously not just us, so on behalf of all the students, the nonprofit leaders, the community partners, the community members who have helped shape PSL, thank you so much for this recognition.
The success of PSL is really driven by students who believe they can make a difference in the world and the community that supported them all along the way. And we're especially grateful to be part of a school district that provides world-class opportunities like service learning for our kids. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then lastly, as Perry Service Learning continues to grow, I'm sure you're aware of all the excellent work that's now been happening in the elementary school the last few years with Mrs. Darnell. The cereal box piece that happened, never thought that would be pulled off the way it did, but that's one example of the amazing things that Mrs. Darnell has been able to accomplish by expanding our service learning into the elementary. And it's our hope through the independent study this year, expanding our number maybe with some vision of another program that we'd like to add to that. And then Mrs. Darnell has been nice enough to come in tonight to provide us with a presentation and update on how that vision is going and where we might get to. So come on up, Mrs. Darnell.
He's making me say a little more than everyone else, so I'm trying to be quick. But thank you so much for having me here today. I really appreciate it. I first want to say thank you for my experience at Perry for the last 25 years teaching the children in Perry, and now the wonderful education that my daughters get here as well, and for allowing me to share my passion for community service with our elementary school. I absolutely love the difference that our students get to make. I can't tell you how much it means to me. They're doing amazing things to spread kindness. And through the work that my students have been doing, I've been seeing a connection and a love they have for animals. And whether it's through sharing stories of pets they have, or asking for animals to visit, or the powerful impact that Captain has had on all of them, whose presence has noticeably had this positive effect on their well-being. I've witnessed this in other schools as well. With an animal, a therapy animal at the school. I was able to go to Upper Arlington School District and the Green Intermediate School District, and they have a working facility dog that is there daily with the students. I was able to shadow one of them. His name was Shakespeare. He's a facility dog at Green Intermediate School. And I observed just the unbelievable impact and constant presence he has for the students. These connections inspired an idea. And the idea was, what if we can have a therapy or facility dog that would be at our school on a more permanent basis? A dog who would become a consistent presence for the students, who would be trusted in our learning environment, and a valuable part of our service learning work. The dog would do things like help students regulate emotions and reduce anxiety, support social emotional learning by empathy, responsibility, and connection. Encourage literacy and engagement, especially for reluctant readers. One of the teachers in Painesville who retired had a dog there with her for 8 years. And she told me there was a student that would never read to anyone except the dog. And play a role in the community and service learning initiatives centered on care and compassion. The dog we are training to be certified as a facility animal is a mini Bernie Doodle named Rocky. He will be going through a rigorous and specialized training over the next 6 months. If successful, he will be certified to work in environments like schools where they learn to remain calm in high energy situations, respond to commands reliably, and offer emotional support in a safe and appropriate way. The program includes training me as a handler to ensure that we both are well equipped to work effectively and responsibly with students so that all students feel comfortable. This isn't just about having a dog on campus. It's about integrating a well-trained dog for a purposeful partner in our learning community so that children can truly be supported with their well-being and their learning. Even more exciting is that the dog trainer is a Perry graduate. Her name is Katrina Krine, and she owns Grand River Canine. We've already taken meaningful steps to make this dream a reality. Initial funding has been secured to cover part of the costs associated with bringing the dog into our facility, including the preliminary training. The Buser Family Foundation has already started funding the community by helping in our classroom, and our Community Engagement PLC was awarded the Senior Class of 2025 grant to help us make further connections with the high school students as well. In addition, we've applied for the Martha Holding Jennings grant to provide additional funding to support the remaining costs. This includes fully training process, certification, and resources to integrate the dog into a school setting effectively and safely. Thank you for allowing me to present my vision. I just want to show you one last thing. This might make you feel really excited. This is Rocky. And I found out that schools across the United States that have dogs in their facility, they actually do trading cards. And so they send them to the different schools with dogs. So I made you each a trading card because then we can focus on where other schools have dogs, what they're doing in their school to help with the students, and we can make more connections with other classes. So thank you again for allowing me to present our vision. By adding a facility animal to the Keep Service Learning Program at PES, I am confident that Rocky will have a lasting and positive impact on our students, both emotionally and academically. Do you have any questions?
Anyone? No? Very thorough. It sounds like you guys have done your homework for sure.
Woo, we've been working hard on this.
When will you be trained?
He should be by, our goal is at the end of August.
And we've been working with Mrs. Capo to make sure we have, the appropriate liability insurance and all those things are in place. So there's a couple things that have to happen, but we want to give you guys an update. So if come August, we have a new member to the Perry ship, you guys are aware of it. And I, once again, just appreciate the work so much. I mean, this has been a lot of work.
Dog training is no joke. No joke.
We're gonna help your husband along too. He'll be fine. But just appreciate the work and hopefully it goes well. And those kids will really prosper down the elementary school with everyone.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you. That concludes my spotlight on
I just want to say thank you to everyone for coming. I think it's such a privilege to get to see how wonderful you all are doing and all the good things happening in the district. A lot of thanks to the teachers and parents and coaches and everyone who works so hard to make sure that our kids are well-rounded and well-prepared for life, because academics are important, but we know that there's so much more that goes into creating good, contributing humans. And I think you guys are all doing an amazing job, and it's a great school to send my kids to and raise our kids in with all the work that you all do. So thank you for that. And congratulations to all of the kids too.
Congratulations to all of you.
Congrats.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And now, I was going to say earlier, I jumped the gun. I got a little nervous. There's a lot of people here. You are welcome to stay for as much of the meeting as you like, but if you wish to leave, you may do so now.
No sticker?
All right. Do we have any committee report?
Nope.
Administrative update, Dr. Thompson?
Thank you. Yeah, just have to mention the high school musical last weekend. I hope some of you or all of you got out there to see our version of Cinderella. The cast and crew they did an outstanding job. It's amazing the number of kids involved in that play, and then having the live orchestra pit is something special as well. And they put that together in very little time. And Mr. Miller and the gang that's down there playing live music, it sets it apart from other plays. And so I really enjoyed it. And congratulations to Mrs. Hunter for, again, another successful play. Leadership Lake County, congratulations to middle school student L'Oreal Ludzicki, who earned the honor of top networker and was awarded $500 at the Leadership Lake County Networking Challenge. During the challenge, the students earned points for eye contact, a handshake, and the ability to hold a conversation. How about that? And a networking event with business and community leaders across our county. We might be talking a little bit about house flips tonight. Central Road shed repair. Thank you to our home renovation students and their instructor, Mr. Zuzi, for their work repairing the sheds on Central Road soccer fields. They went to work repairing the roof siding and replacing the doors. This was yet another great real-world experience for our students, which is all in a benefit for our community. How'd that go, Mr. Zuzi? All completed?
The roof is about half finished, and we're starting the prep for the siding.
Awesome.
We had the rain today, and last week's some raining, so. You know, high school kids with big metal ladders in the middle of the field.
Maybe not.
Not a good area.
We certainly appreciate you guys stepping up and at a moment's notice being asked to help out and doing that for us. And make sure you thank our kids for it as well. And then, again, while it's still April, it's feeling more and more like May. And May is certainly a month of celebrations where we reflect a little bit on the year and celebrate all the wonderful accomplishments that have happened. And so here we go, though. The art show and student learning showcase is coming up next week on Thursday, April 24th. I hope you guys can get out and see all the wonderful artwork, and they really do transform our buildings with loads of artwork. It's amazing the amount of work that these kids do in a year. And then right along with that it's spring concert week, right? So I think Tuesday it's PHS, the 22nd, 5th and 6th grade, the 23rd, and 7th and 8th grade, the 24th for their concerts. Jazz and Bucks start in about 50 minutes. So there's still time and hope that we can get over there and see that performance as well. Exciting times. And then you will see on the board agenda a request for the board to approve the graduation class of 2025. May 18th will be the graduation ceremony, and moving it up, normally a 2:30 start. This year we're moving up to 1 o'clock. Right, Mr. Purcell? That's correct. So I hope to see you all there. And that concludes my administrative update.
Thank you, Dr. Thompson. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Metzger?
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy?
Yes.
Dr. Thompson?
Okay. Personnel, acceptance of retirement. The board is asked to accept the retirement of the individual listed for the position noted as recommended by the local superintendent. Under B, personnel acceptance of resignation, the board is asked to accept the resignation of the individuals listed for the position noted as recommended by the local superintendent. C, personnel approval appointment, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the position indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. Under D, personnel approval of employment curriculum, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individual listed to complete the curriculum work at the rate of pay of $36 per hour and for the maximum number of hours indicated as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. Under E, personnel approval appointment independent study, the board is asked to approve the employment of the individuals listed for the second semester independent study supplemental position rate of pay indicated for the 2024-25 school year as recommended by the local superintendent and board principal. Under F, personnel approval appointment athletic department, the board is asked to approve the individuals noted for the position indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, background check, and certification as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under G, personnel approval, appointment, athletic supplementals. The board is asked to approve the employment of the individual listed for the 2024-25 athletic supplemental position and rate of pay indicated pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, training, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Under H, personnel approval of summer camp workers. The board is asked to approve the individuals listed as volunteer workers for the 2025 summer camp and leagues as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. Quite an extensive list. Under I, personnel approval of appointment substitutes. The board is asked to approve the individuals noted for the 2024-25 daily substitute position listed pending successful completion of required employment paperwork, certification, and background check as recommended by the local superintendent. J, approval of facility use for summer camps. The board is asked to approve the use of the district athletic facilities for the following 2025 summer camps and leagues as recommended by the local superintendent and athletic director. And K, class of 2025, attaches a list of tentative candidates for graduation in the PHS class of 2025. The board is asked to approve the names subject to completion of all requirements to receive diplomas at the conclusion of the 24-25 school year as recommended by the local superintendent and principal. We have L, approval of out-of-state travel. The board is asked to approve out-of-state travel listed as recommended by the local superintendent and assistant superintendent. All those paid by title funds. M, approval of first reading. The board is asked to consider the following revised board policies as a first reading for future action as recommended by the local superintendent. Draft policies are available for your review. And policy approval second reading. The board is asked to adopt the new revised board policy listed as recommended by the local superintendent. We do have an update on one of those policies. I believe it's 5223. With some of the changes that we're making at the federal level, we're adjusting policies quicker than we can get them approved. So we're going to go ahead and with just a few little additions to 5223, it's just an insert that to the following sentence: the district shall collaborate with the sponsoring entity to identify a time for religious instruction to be offered during the school day. And then we add prior to establishing release times for that instruction. And also there was an option that we were going to include talking about private entities proposing to provide religious instruction during release time. That is now being recommended that it's deleted. So we'll be knocking that option out of our policy. And this concludes my superintendent's report.
Is there a motion?
Okay.
Any discussion? On 5223, what are we doing?
Okay, so that's release time for religious instruction during the school day. You probably recall we talked about that policy in the first reading, that it's under the new Ohio Revised Code, we're required to negotiate with religious entities that want to provide instruction during the school day for our students. It has to happen off campus, and the way we've written the policy or adopted the policy is it cannot be done during core instructional time. And so we went through the first reading and we're asking for the second reading approval tonight with those additions that I just explained.
Okay, it looks like in this, did we strike out the requirement for a background check? Because I thought we wanted to keep that requirement.
Where would you see that?
On the bottom of page 1 into page 2, the second option, we did want to keep, we can still keep, correct? The requirement that they be background checked according to the school standards?
It's great. Down versus Ohio. It says Ohio, and it says
This red part? No, here.
criminal right there.
It says private entities proposing to provide religious instruction during release time as set forth herein shall be required to provide the district with criminal record checks.
It's criminal background check documentation must be provided by the board upon request. We had discussion on that. And I believe there's an acknowledgement that they're signing off that all instructors will have a background check, approved background check. And they're signing an assurance to make sure that happens. So we're not required to have them submit, we're not requiring to have them submit background checks for all their instructors. So it's just gonna be an assurance that they're gonna sign. I believe that's.
What about the people we're releasing the kids to? So what if they're transported? What if a private?
Well, that would be
Picking them
included,
up.
that would
That's
be
included?
included in the insurance, the assurance that they're signing off that all the folks are gonna be background checked and appropriate that, pick them up. That's what I recall. Now, I can look at that a little
Yeah,
closer.
I would like to see if we can keep that requirement to show background checks. I know that that's what we've heard from the community, is that they were really concerned about background checks and the kids being released to people without background checks.
And they can do their stuff, but I like to at least.
Okay,
If
let's,
it's possible to keep it in.
let's go ahead and keep it.
Okay,
And so, we'll make a note to now not strike that,
okay,
and we will keep it. And so that, so upon request, they would have to provide those.
okay.
And if there's any issue with that, if I check with legal,
I think the law is written so that it's either or. Either they have to be background checked, or the owner or officer of the company can provide insurance. So
Okay.
maybe you want to keep it as an either or,
okay,
because I think that's the way the law is written.
Yeah,
Alright.
if we, however, we have to keep it, but I think we should err on the side of caution and make it as strict as possible. So if we have the right to request
Yeah.
those and see the actual background checks, because we don't know who these people are gonna be.
because that is a recommendation from Neola,
Yeah,
that we strike that.
yeah, I don't think that that's the
I will
direction
double
that the
check,
community is
we'll
wanting.
call Ed Holland and double check on that to see.
Yeah,
But we're gonna strike, we're gonna keep that in there for now.
Okay.
And if that's a problem, I'll bring it back to the board
And we
at the
can
next
review the
meeting.
policy. Okay.
Yeah.
I think we should too, because I think my question comes down to the transportation portion of it. Because we're not the ones transporting the student. Right? So what if the other entity is contracting with a service provider that provides transportation? That's another layer of, right? Who's in the mix here?
Okay,
I
so
think we should leave it.
we'll talk to, our representative from Neola
Okay,
and legal and make sure that that's really clear. But right now, we're gonna vote on that as staying in.
thank you.
Okay.
Was there any other discussion, any policy discussion? Before we move? Most of these are coming from new laws that are required, we are required to have that in there.
Yep.
Okay. There's no more discussion, then roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig,
Yes.
Mrs. Truster,
Yes.
Mrs. Fiore,
Yes.
Mrs. Foley.
Yes.
Mrs. Capo?
Thank you. A, Perry Village SRO's MOU. The board is asked to approve the 2025-2026 School Resource Officer Memorandum of Agreement between Perry Village Police Department and Perry Schools as recommended by the local superintendent and chief financial officer. LEC PD MOU. The board is asked to approve a memorandum of understanding between the Perry Board of Education and the Lake Erie College regarding establishment of a partnership between the Lake Erie College School of Education and Perry Local School District to support the professional development of the district's teachers by providing accessible and affordable advanced education opportunities as recommended by the Assistant Superintendent and Chief Financial Officer. C, contracts and agreements, LES contracting. The board is asked to approve a 5-year lawn care services contract extension for the 2026 through 2030 seasons from Lake Erie Shores Contracting with the terms and conditions set forth in the contract documents in the initial annual amount of $78,220.78 as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer and the Director of Maintenance and Operations. D, approval of expenditure Parent Square. The board is asked to approve an expenditure in the amount of $14,014 to go to Parent Square for a district mobile communications application and website as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer, Director of Communications, and Assistant Superintendent. E, approval of expenditure Motorola. The board is asked to authorize an expenditure of $114,139.63 to Motorola for new bus radios as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer, Local Superintendent, and Director of Transportation. F, approval of expenditure Logicalis. The board is asked to approve an expenditure in the amount of $107,694.03 to Logicalis for the replacement and update of the district PA announcement system. as recommended by the Director of IT and Chief Financial Officer. G, acceptance of grant funds, second transition. The board is asked to accept the Strategy Second Transition Grant in the amount of $2,170 and to approve the appropriations for such grant to be placed in Fund 499 SCC 9225 as recommended by the Chief Financial Officer. And this concludes my Chief Financial Officer's report.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
Second,
Any discussion?
a question with F first.
F.
Is that the, similar to the one that we replaced? Was it 2 years ago?
No, the PA system is original to the buildings. It's all 30.
So it's those, the ones within like the classrooms and stuff?
Yes, and so
Always.
this will make them better for safety, security, for lockdown announcements. They integrate with our IT phones, part of the 10-year capital plan, and we did get a $40,000 grant to help cover part of the cost.
Oh, good, that safety grant?
Yeah, so it'll be 67 out of the.
Out of the total
General
cost
fund.
shown? Oh, good. Okay, so the one we replaced before was more like the phone system or the radio system?
Yeah, we just recently replaced the
That
phones,
was
yeah,
different.
and this will integrate with those new phones that we got.
That's,
So,
yep, okay, that's what I'm really, okay.
And that you said was already in the 10-year.
this was already part of Jim Smith's plan.
I had a question about the parent square.
Yes.
Is that in addition to or replacing Messenger?
It works with
They're
Infinite
integrated.
Campus, yeah. So, it's gonna allow like teachers to
Push it out.
message their entire class at once without having to use a personal phone call or coaches. It allows for two-way communication, but it also works like the Messenger where you can just put something out. It also allows Al to make one post and it'll send it to all of our social media outlets without having to
Nice.
go to each one. So,
Increased communication as always.
yes, yes, definitely.
So is it replacing Infinite Campus Messenger or just renaming it, or is it just a different tool?
I think it integrates
Integrated?
with it. Yeah.
Okay,
We're not getting rid of Messenger.
okay. I know it was a new name. We're still discussing these?
Yeah.
Oh,
For letter A, it says approve the 25-26 contract.
Mhm.
It's not an annual. Is there a termination to the contract or is it open-ended year after year?
It's a memorandum of understanding, so I think there's no end date on it.
Yeah, there's a 120-day out notification, so anytime you want to sever the understanding, you have to give notice, 3-month notice.
So the recommendation would be that we keep it as a standing item, say like in February, March, review it and see what we want to do for the next school year. And at that point, we could discuss it, because that gives us plenty of time. If there's any variations or anything we want to do differently, that's more than the 120 days.
Yeah, we're gonna meet quarterly to reconcile and then make payment. And see if there's any adjustments, so it'll be more than annually.
And I can't recall, do we have anything there that says when we would get notified if there's an increase? Or obviously we have the step scale.
Mhm.
Will there be like year to year, if step 0 increases for next school year? When will we be notified so that we would have adequate time to plan for additional funds?
Yeah, it's a public record, it's action by the council, and so it's open. We could certainly, out of courtesy, I think Mayor Gessig would be happy to let us know if there's any changes in that. Now, every 3 months, it's an interesting understanding, because instead of giving a base cost, we're gonna calculate based on who's working. So it's going to be adjusted depending on if there's a sub in there, absenteeisms, the level of pay of whatever officer's working there. So it's going to adjust in real time so that it's an actual cost, their cost will be all we pay. And then, so it'll be interesting to see how that works. But, much more frequently looking at how those things are going than we have in the past, for sure. Because up till this point, any agreement we just paid a lump sum in August, at the beginning of the year. And that's honestly the last time we would look at it, think about it. As a matter of fact, I think this last contract, the council, the village police, were able to get grant funding and then that applied that grant funding to the cost of the second SRO. And so actually, they probably paid some for our services in their last contract.
So if there were grant funding available, how would that offset our costs in the future too? Or how would that work if there?
Absolutely. The agreement, the understanding is that we're gonna recover, we're gonna pay the actual cost of what the village police department pays,
Okay.
cost them. So whatever adjustment happens, on a quarterly basis, we're reconciling that. And Mrs. Capo has looked at that language and is in agreement that that's workable to do that. And we'd love to reduce costs as they would, if that's an option.
It's my understanding that we'll get invoiced with itemized on what exactly we're paying for and what the benefits are, correct? Like, it'll be all broken out to exactly what we're paying for, what's the base, what's the benefits.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I would expect that they would give us probably copies of pay stubs.
So, yeah, it's very dependent on,
Documentation is
because as you know, based on, when you talk about benefits, if somebody takes it in lieu of, that's gonna be $8,500 versus if somebody's taking family insurance,
Right.
it's gonna be quite a bit more. And so it could fluctuate significantly, based on those health benefits and those things.
So I have a question too regarding, and I appreciate, first of all, I want to say I appreciate all the time that's gone into creating this MOU. So I'm thankful that we have this here and we're making this progress, because I think that's great. I want to make sure we're clear and that we have a nice tight contract here, that, or MOU, sorry, it's an MOU. Memorandum of Understanding. Got it, spit it out. When it says the 120 days prior to the end of the contract, but yet there's no end of a contract, right? Or there's no end of the MOU, I'm sorry. There's no end date. And then it says that it begins at the start of the school year. I think it would be clearer and it would be helpful if we had a definition of the start of the school year by saying something like on the student's first day, so that we know annually that this goes into effect on the student's first day. So it's not misinterpreted as August 1st or August 20th or August 15th, it's the student's first day.
Their service, they have 180 days that they're, for 8 hours, they're expected to be here, and that's currently, one more year, that's currently the number of instructional days we have. And so whatever day that is, that's when the SROs will begin. August 1st is when the first invoice is delivered to us, I believe.
Yeah, I would like it to state that in the
Well, but
contract.
the first day of school changes year in,
Right.
year out, so.
It could state student's first day.
I-
It
I have-
just
I don't have
says,
it
it just
memorized,
says
but-
beginning of the school year.
I asked
I
Emily
think
for,
that's just left untied.
I called Emily and asked her for clarity on that today, and she said that the way it's written, it would be the understanding of the first of the 180 school day year.
Yeah,
That's what, and she said that that's pretty standard across these agreements. She said this agreement's pretty standard with all the districts, most of the districts she works with.
And right, and so the second year, if this continues, it'll be 179 days. That'll be an adjustment, right? Because we've kind of agreed to that in our last proposal with our PCTA.
So then the 120 would go backwards
That's
from
a
the student's
moving-
first
that's a
day
moving
or
target.
from August 1st?
What 120?
From the
No,
first day
she's
of the
saying from the first
180
day
day
of the
school
kids'
year.
School year.
Because kids are in class 180 days, so it's the first day of the 180 day school year.
And if we make
120
any
days before
adjustments,
that.
and that's where the adjustments, anytime there are students, we have instructional days, we hope to provide SRO services for their protection. If they're having a school day, and we change those sometimes, right? Theoretically, if we had enough calamity days, you'd move the count, you'd move days, and we do makeup days. And so we need to have that kind of flexibility. Because, if kids are in our buildings on a regular day, we would expect that.
Yeah,
that
I agree with that.
SROs are in there.
I just thought we would define start of school year, but if you're saying we don't need to, and that's what our
That's what
our
Emily
legal
said.
counsel advised us of, then, they're the experts here. Just want to make sure that we understand what that means. Did you mention, Jen, that there would be this is capable of breakdown of costs? So I understand we have the salary of the individual, and we're paying the total cost that it costs to employ that person for the time that they're here. In addition to that, it said retirement. It says it in the parentheses here.
Right.
So can we define retirement, like that it's the
It's
the
20.
employer's contribution? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't state that. All it says is retirement.
We're paying all the retirement, whether it's, we would pay their contribution and whatever they normally would get paid.
But we wouldn't
So-
pay the employee's contribution, and it doesn't state that we're paying the
Well,
employer's
Well, that's their
requirement.
that's pickup.
salary.
That would be,
That would be included in the salary. Because the employee's part would come out of that salary amount.
Yeah.
And then there'd be 24%.
But we're paying it.
well,
So isn't that like paying the employee's contribution?
We pay whatever the village.
So if
They get
they're
paid.
gonna make, if they make $32 an hour, 24% of that gets sent to their retirement.
Right.
Out of their port,
Out of their
But-
portion?
but the village, or we would have to pay the 32%, the $32. That's just how it gets divvied up.
Okay.
The cost of the hour is $32, and then part of it goes here and part of it goes to them.
It makes sense, yeah. I just, the way it was written to me was just kind of, again, I thought it would be helpful if it was tightened up the way it was written, so it was
I don't know how you
like
would take that out.
defined, just defined. Because it states in the MOU, it says that we would be paying salary, health benefits, retirement contributions, Medicare, and cost of required SRO training.
Right.
I mean, I guess, we could say the village's share of, but what you're talking about, the employee share is already included in that salary number.
Yeah.
We
Mr.
were
Gallant?
talking back here, the village does not pay the employee share. They only pay the employer share, which is 19.5%. That's the village cost, just like ours
Yeah.
for school boys is 14.
Theirs is
Police and fire
19.
is 19.5.
It's 19.5 currently, however, there's legislation that is going to increase over the next
Yeah.
4 or 5 years, a graduated amount each year. So there's a potential for it is going to go up.
But it still will not be the employee share, it's just the employer share.
But a higher rate than what.
Remember,
Yeah.
legally required cost is.
So the employee share is in that
No, it's
salary.
not. No.
Well, no, just like taxes are, but you don't pay taxes.
Right.
You pay, so if you get paid $30 an hour, there's an additional expense that goes to the retirement system. That isn't a village expense, that's an employee cost, goes to their retirement system. The employer share.
The employer, yes, but if you get paid $30 an hour
Yes.
and your taxes come out of that and all that, we paid you $30
It's
an hour.
including the 30.
And then we send the stuff where it needs to go, but it costs us $30 an hour to have that person, right?
It costs 30, but
That's
the
the
employee
employer
share is
share.
absorbed within that $30.
Right, that's what I'm saying, so
Not in
it's
addition
in
to.
the salary, it's not additional, it's just
Only the
in
employer share
salary.
is outside of it.
Right,
Employee share will be assumed by them.
So we don't need to indicate what that percentage is. that-
Well, it's gonna change. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's a moving target. Just like,
Maybe the clarification is employer contribution.
Well, I thought that the whole, what it's stated in this is we will pay what the village is paying them. We
It's
pay
very
their
clear.
cost, right?
it's, and it's,
Regardless of what their cost is, we pay their cost. So if it's 25% retirement or 12% retirement, we pay their cost.
Right, but it would be helpful if we have an estimate of what that is. We don't have. any
well,
numbers in front
well,
of
we
us.
did the numbers today, and if I put the highest, I did a number with the highest paid employer over there based on latest council improvement. So if we had two of those, which they only have one right now, it would max out of pocket for the district would be $175,000 for two of the highest paid employer
Which
over
there's
there.
only one chief, right?
Right.
Well, I didn't say that, I didn't say that. You know, so that's your max out of pocket. And then if you want to talk SRO training, there's multiple ways to do training. Chief Williams is very good at describing, you know, two of the current ones, one of them got it done this year online, cost about $400. In the past, a previous SRO went to Columbus for 4 days. So you pay $400 registration fee, but now you're paying for lodging, a couple $100 a night. You know, you get into about $1,000 there. You're gonna pay some food and that, and then and travel. That could be, at max a couple thousand if they want to go and spend 4 days. And if you had a replacement there, you would have to pay that as well. So we,
By my estimate,
Yeah, we're gonna pay
it should be about $130,000 to $160,000 a year, about where we're.
So then on August 1st, we pay like a quarter installment and then we
Mhm.
reconcile at the end of that quarter.
Yes.
Correct.
That's, yes. That was right.
based on absenteeism, sub rate.
Snow
versus-
days.
Yeah, snow days, no work, yeah, I mean, all those things get adjusted. And I want to thank we've done a lot of contracts, Mr. Gallant and Mrs. Capel. There's always an administrative fee, and they've waived any administrative fee. We're not paying a 5% like we do with any ESC that comes in and provides us with services. We're paying some level of administrative fee, and they have not included that. I appreciate that, I'm not putting that in there.
Any other discussion? The lawn care contract, that's pretty standard. No drastic increases in the lawn care contract. That's,
The lawn care, right now, it's at 76.
okay, so it's not a big increase.
So it's, yeah.
Okay,
And it does have a 2% increase per year on
Okay.
the contract, but that's,
and we're happy with the work they've been doing.
yes.
Okay, Mr. Smith happy.
As long as he's doing.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Dexter?
Yes.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
And Mr. Lydic?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Thompson, we missed the superintendent's addendum report.
Not a problem. Thank you. Under Superintendent's Addendum Report, Part 1, we have approval appointment summer stretch. The board is asked to approve the individuals listed for the summer stretch position noted as recommended by the local superintendent and building principal. Under B, approval appointment head custodian. The board is asked to approve the employees listed to be summer head custodians as recommended by the local superintendent and director of maintenance and operations. And this concludes my superintendent addendum report, part 1.
Is there a motion? Any discussion? I have one question. So summer stretch is approved. Is summer rec happening? Does anyone know? Is summer rec nobody?
Dr. Malcheski usually has been working that out with rec. I haven't heard a word if whether it's going to be together or
Mrs.
not.
Braga, do you happen to know? Because you're on rec board, right?
We don't get a lot of communication
Okay,
from the rec director.
okay.
We call a lot, we email a lot. I do not know.
All right, we'll try. I think that's something we're trying to find out so we can put information out there if there is.
Okay.
We can ask our 2 people that are appointed. to
Yeah,
the
we'll have
board.
to ask.
Oh, good hand up.
Oh, yes. Yes. Mrs. Beaver hiding back there.
My last understanding is that last year they worked with Great Day, but that this year they are not working with Great Day. So last year it went summer stretch, kids went to Great Day if they did both, and then were part of some of that. I don't think that partnership is happening this summer. That's the last I heard when I had a meeting with Great Day about our summer stretch.
That's disappointing.
So we don't think there's summer rec?
I don't know if there's summer rec, I just know that it's not connected
It's
to
not
Great Day.
Okay.
Well, I think that's something worth looking into. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good service. The kids been here for, how long have we had summer rec?
How many years?
We had it when I was in school.
My
Yeah.
kids went in 07.
All right,
I've only heard about the basketball, seeing the communication and then from like, with grants, but running it.
okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Seoli?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Lydic?
Yes.
Mrs. Dexter?
Yes. Dr. Thompson, part 2.
Yes, interesting enough, with the speed of things that are happening at the federal level, under the advisement of legal counsel, we've been asked to waive a first reading and do both the first and second reading on an addendum to a policy, part 2. And so the policy to board bylaw 0131, the board is asked to amend policy 2111 to make clear it will be implemented in compliance with current guidance as recommended by the local superintendent. Again, we signed a certification that we were going to be in compliance with Title VI. And so we just want to make sure that our language in policy 211 meets those assurances. And so this policy includes references to promote activities that bridge economic and cultural barriers and relate to various cultural languages, practices, and customs. It also refers to the need to evaluate barriers to participation for parents who, among other things, are of any racial or ethnic minority background. This focus would likely be deemed impermissible. Okay, and so I'm gonna recommend that the board add the following statement to this policy. The district shall ensure that any particular attention paid to parents who are economically disadvantaged or disabled, have limited English proficiency, have limited literacy, or are of any racial or ethnic minority background does not result in any disfavoring of other families who are not part of these groups. This line is meant only to ensure that engagement is appropriate for all families. For example, a person with limited English proficiency might require a translator.
Okay, the board president, move to deem compliance with U.S. Department of Education requirements and certifications be deemed an emergency pursuant to bylaw 0131, permitting the amendment of policies on first reading in cases of emergency. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Sealy?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Tresca?
Yes. I further move to adopt the recommendations of the superintendent regarding the amendment of policy 2111. Is there a second?
So moved.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Sealy?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Tresca?
Yes. Mrs. Capo, your addendum report now.
A, approval of financial reports. The board is asked to approve the financial report for March 2025 as recommended by the chief financial officer. And B, approval of property purchase. The board is asked to authorize the chief financial officer and board president to execute the purchase of the home located at 4575 White Angel Drive, Perry, Ohio, for an amount not to exceed $269,000 plus required closing costs as recommended by the chief financial officer. And this concludes my CFO addendum report.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Foley?
Absolutely.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.
Mrs. Tresca?
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
There's a house to work on. There's a house to work on.
Unfinished business.
Thank you.
The Champion Farm transfers are almost complete. Most of the paperwork has been filed. We did present them with the closing costs that were discussed, and they've countered, the village has countered with $6,500 and the JED has countered with $2,000. So I just need to know what to tell our legal counsel tomorrow about those offers.
I guess my question is, why are we negotiating something that's in a contract that says the tenant shall pay all costs
And made whole.
and that the district would be made whole? Why are we negotiating that as a price?
You don't have to. This is just what they came back with. I'm just letting you know.
So you just need direction from us on where to proceed next. Does anyone have any thoughts on where you want to proceed next? Sounds like everyone wants to continue pursuing the full amount as was stated in the contract.
Yes.
Yes. And this isn't, we're not trying to hold anything up. We're just trying to be responsible with our district funds for the kids and make sure that we are getting made whole as it's indicated in the contract.
Okay, I'll let Mr. Sigoni know.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Any new business? Or is anything else in old business? New business? I lost my spot, sorry. Correspondence and announcements. The district will be closed Friday, April 18th, 2025 for Good Friday. There will be no classes on Monday, April 21st, 2025 for the Monday after Easter. The next regular Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 5:45 p.m. in the Charter Center Conference Room. Is there any public participation? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Tresca?
Yes.
Mrs. Sealy?
Yes.
Mrs. Foley?
Yes.
Mr. Leidig?
Yes.